My ex-boyfriend moved into the apartment across from mine. On the day we ran into each other, I'd just returned from minor surgery with 7 days worth of unwashed hair. There he stood in his usual perfectly tailored perfection, looking so devastatingly handsome it made my pulse race. John raked his gaze over my disheveled appearance, that infuriatingly polished smile playing on his lips. "Some things never change," he drawled with honeyed sarcasm. I hadn't eaten properly in a week. My complexion resembled week-old oatmeal, and I'd been discharged wearing the same ratty pajamas I'd worn to the hospital. Rage boiled in my veins. "Damn right," I sneered. "This train wreck still managed to dump your ass. Didn't I?" The color drained from John's face. He pressed his lips into a thin line, storming into the elevator after me without another word. I jabbed the button for the 16th floor. When he didn't select a floor, I stubbornly refused to ask. My jaw dropped when he strode toward the unit opposite mine. "Following me now?" I snapped. He ignored me, unlocking his door with a fingerprint scan. I marched into my apartment and straight to the shower, my heart pounding like a war drum. Of course I still wanted him, but our last explosive fight 3 months ago had been the final straw, two sharp-toned cynics tearing each other apart. The doorbell rang. I shrugged on a robe to find John leaning against my doorway, shirt clinging to his damp torso, water droplets glistening in his hair. My mouth went desert dry. "What?" I barked, gripping the doorframe like a shield. "Shower's broken." He avoided eye contact, jaw tense. "Mind if I borrow yours?" I smirked. "Forgotten how you were just." He turned to leave. "Wait." The word tumbled out. "You can, if you make me dinner." John froze. "Not happening. Just a week's worth." I injected pathetic sweetness into my voice. "Post-op recovery. Takeout's killing me." His glare could have frostbitten hell. Should have starved then. But he shouldered past me toward the bathroom anyway. I bit back a triumphant grin watching his retreating back, those sinful hip bones peeking above his waistband. When he opened the bathroom door, realization struck like lightning. "Wait, don't." Too late. John bent to retrieve my faded cotton bra dangling from the hook, examining it like contaminated evidence. "Your taste deteriorated," he finally said. Heat flooded my face as I snatched it away. "None of your business. It's hospital trash anyway." "Then whose business is it?" His voice dropped to Arctic levels. The sudden intensity startled me into honesty. "I didn't want you seeing me like this." The admission made me want to combust. John's laughter warmed the space between us, low and velvety. When the bathroom door closed, reality resurfaced. "You're my ex," I hissed at the steamed glass. "Lost your rights to care." The door swung open abruptly. John leaned against the frame, towel slung dangerously low. Heard every word. His gaze dragged from my flushed face to where the door concealed his torso. "See something you like?" My traitorous hand already pushed against the door. John's palm flattened against it. Eyes smoky. "Use your words, sweetheart." When he blocked me, my mind suddenly cleared. I withdrew my hand and straightened up. "You didn't bring a towel. Don't use mine. There are new ones in the cabinet under the sink." The door slammed shut as John didn't even bother looking at me. Joke's on him. Even if we were to get back together, I wouldn't be his doormat. Grabbing my phone, I headed to the fridge for bottled water while watching videos. My nose collided with the kitchen's corner wall. Since my recent rhinoplasty, I immediately knew something was wrong. Blood gushed out when I touched it. My legs gave out from hemophobia, knees hitting the floor as I whimpered, "John." I never expected him to come out. John emerged wearing only a towel, his pale complexion turning ghostly when he saw me kneeling in blood. Yet absurdly, my nosebleed intensified at the glimpse of his previously concealed abs. He grabbed tissues from the dining table to wipe my face. "Close your eyes." confused but obedient. I felt him crouch beside me. Regret flooded me. Why close them? As I started opening my eyes, he scooped me up bridal style. Rest on the couch. I'll change and take you to the ER. He soothed. That familiar tenderness returning. John dressed and thoughtfully brought me a coat, naturally holding my hand downstairs as if we'd never broken up. Not like I'd remind him while needing help. Let him have this small victory. Heh. His hand felt smooth. At the emergency room, I froze seeing Dr. James, my surgeon on duty. Dr. James. My tense shoulders relaxed instantly. Oddly, John's grip tightened around my fingers. Memories surfaced of post-surgery night when nasal packing expanded painfully. I'd paced hospital corridors until encountering Dr. James during his shift. That endless night, I'd waited beside him till dawn. Ms. Wilson? Dr. James raised an eyebrow. Nose collision with bleeding. I explained. He gestured to the examination chair, triggering traumatic flashbacks. Relax. Dr. James murmured, holding anesthetic-soaked cotton. I'll be gentle. His calm eyes worked better than sedatives. Still, I flinched when cotton reached deep nasal passages. Wait outside for 10 minutes. He instructed. In the hallway, I noticed John's unusually somber mood. You okay? Got that doctor's number? John asked tonelessly, avoiding eye contact. Actually no. Maybe I'll ask later. John suddenly turned, intensity burning in his gaze. My first thought? These nasal tampons looked ridiculous. I angled my face away. Why won't you look at me? His voice roughened. Before I could retort what's there to see, he gripped my chin to turn me. People still milled around the hospital, slapping his hand away. I opened my mouth to scold him when Dr. James called me back. Minor tear. Use prescribed medication properly. Dr. James concluded post-examination. As I started asking for his contact info, John materialized in the doorway. Let's go. You need groceries and dinner. He drawled, leaning against the frame. Dr. James nodded. She requires regular meals and rest. Distracted, I followed John out, only remembering the unanswered request when our car left hospital grounds. Why did you interrupt me from getting James's contact? Planning to get sick again? John drawled while waiting at the red light, his fingers tapping the steering wheel. Can't expect anything decent coming out of that mouth. Always jinxing me. I muttered under my breath. I'd meant to avoid arguing since he was buying dinner later, but the jerk misinterpreted my silence as guilt. Seems like someone's eager to fall ill again and visit James. John sneered with exaggerated sarcasm. Are you insane? I snapped, then leaned closer to his face with a smirk. Wait, is Mr. Cool actually jealous? That's not allowed. You know. The light turned green. John hit the gas, sending me lurching into him. Our collision ended with me accidentally biting his lip during the stumble. He glanced down at my stunned expression, amusement crinkling his eyes. Throwing yourself at me and leaving marks? That's not allowed either. While grocery shopping later, he asked, what do you want to eat? Meat. We're having something light. Then why ask? Just pick whatever. I rolled my eyes. John chuckled but grabbed a cut of beef anyway. Watching him examine vegetables with focused precision, I blurted, teach me to cook. He didn't look up. Why? Before I could deliver a smartass reply, my chaotic friend Emma materialized beside us. Ivy? Didn't you say you were scouting new guys last week? Why are you still with him? I shot her a death glare. Emma. Honey. No one thinks you're mute if you shut up. John's face darkened instantly. He dumped the chicken wings back into the freezer, removed the beef from our cart, and strode away without a word. His long legs covered half the aisle before I processed his exit. I pointed threateningly at Emma, "We'll settle this later," then sprinted after him like a chastised puppy. "John. Please? Let's get the beef," I pleaded, tugging his sleeve. He shook me off effortlessly. "You'll eat what I give you." His cold shoulder routine continued through checkout. By the parking garage, my patience snapped. I slammed the car door. "Maybe check your own baggage before giving me the silent treatment. We're not even back together. Yet you moved into my place. Why should I coddle you? Take your little tantrum elsewhere." Regret flooded me the moment I saw his blanched lips. He looked genuinely wrecked. My temper always outraced my conscience. As I opened my mouth to apologize, he spoke first. Voice icy, "Guess I'm just pathetic." "No. I'm the pathetic one. If I hadn't gotten sick, I'd be simping for you right now." He transferred $2,000 to me with the memo shower money before peeling out of the garage, leaving me choking on exhaust fumes. 3 calls later, a giggly female voice answered his phone. "Who's this?" "I'm his dad," I hissed, then froze at the thumping bass in the background. The idiot was drowning his sorrows at Total Bar, smearing on red lipstick. I texted Emma, "Bring the squad. We're crashing Total in 20. The moment I stepped inside, I saw John slumped on the couch clutching a whiskey glass, looking far too sober for someone who'd supposedly been too drunk to answer his phone. The bombshell beside him in a scandalous low-cut tank top giggled, her manicured fingers tracing circles on the leather cushion. I marched over in my stilettos, heels clicking like war drums. "Remember me?" I snatched the tumbler from John's grasp. He glanced up with hooded eyes. "The neighbor across the hall." I nearly choked on my own rage. The blonde burst into peals of laughter, her coral nails covering perfectly plumped lips. "The fuck you laughing at?" I snapped. "Can't see we're having a lover's quarrel?" "Scram. Sweetie," she purred, examining her gel manicure. "Your number's not even saved in his contacts. If you want to turn with him, get in line." John barked a laugh at "get in line," his smoldering gaze locking onto mine with deliberate mockery. "Fine. You bastard." My smile turned glacial. "Don't come crawling back." Plopping down, I dialed Emma. "Emma? I need backup at Total. Bring Ethan." "Ethan?" Emma's screech made me hold the phone away. "He turned 18 3 months ago. Have you lost your fucking mind? $2,000. Now. Your wish is my command." Emma sighed, slamming my phone down. I glared at John. "Keep acting cold. I'll drain your accounts dry spoiling my new boy toy." Emma delivered Ethan looking like a K-pop idol, dewy skin, artfully messy ash blonde hair, ripped jeans hanging low on his hips. The kid practically glowed when he saw me. "Hi, Ivy." I shot John my most predatory grin, yanking Ethan down beside me. His cologne smelled like expensive irises and poor decisions. "Ordered you a Cosmo, baby. Sweet like you." "But Ivy," Ethan blinked Bambi eyes at me, lower lip trembling. "I don't drink. Relax." I crooned, tucking a strand behind his ear. "I'll take care of you. My place has a killer sound system if you need to crash." Ethan took an exaggerated gulp, fake coughing into his elbow. I rubbed his back with theatrical concern until the corner booth erupted. "Ivy." John's voice cut through the bass line like shattered glass. "You done with this charade?" "Charade?" I draped myself over Ethan. "Meet my upgrade. Younger. Sweeter. Doesn't play emotional hide and seek." John surged up, leather jacket grazing my cheek as he stormed toward the exit. My stilettos clattered after him through the parking garage's concrete labyrinth. When he whirled around, the overhead lights carved his jawline into something Michelangelo would weep over. "What?" he growled. "Comparing me to that TikTok twink?" Such a waste. I breathed, stepping into his personal space. All that pretty packaging ruined by your personality. The kiss happened like controlled demolition, teeth clashing. My back hitting cold concrete. His hands fisting in my hair. We came up gasping. Lipstick smeared across his chin like a crime scene. Then the bastard ghosted me. 7 days. 7 fucking days of staring at his untouched doormat across the hallway. At 2:17 a.m. on Saturday, I finally cracked, pressing my ear against 4BS mahogany door like some derailed rom-com heroine. Ivy? I froze. John stood silhouetted in the elevator's glow. Armani suit rumpled, reeking of airport vodka. My sequined mini dress suddenly felt cheap under his bloodshot scrutiny. Then I noticed his companion, some Instagram-ready brunette in a blazer dress that screamed corporate retreat affair. Her stiletto nudged a Louis Vuitton weekender bag toward his threshold. John. I managed. Acid rising in my throat. Who's your friend? That total bar hottie. So he disappeared for days because he hooked up with her? Did he ditch me because my boobs aren't as big or my ass not as perky? Fuming, I jabbed a finger at John. You cheating bastard. Then I stormed into my apartment and slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frame. Even as I said it, part of me hoped John would come apologize. Peeking through the peephole, I choked. He was bringing that woman inside. Moonless night. 2 adults alone. Sparks flying. John. We're through. I tossed all night. Dark circles forming under my eyes by morning. Yet the jerk had the nerve to knock. What? I cracked the door, feigning indifference. She's my cousin. Came to pick something up yesterday. John flashed a family photo on his phone. I wanted to laugh. Why the hell didn't he explain earlier? Reading my face, John smirked. Wanted you to cool down and realize you can't live without me. I slammed the door, then yanked it open again. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I could date 8 guys at once without you. Before I finished, he covered my mouth and shouldered inside, pinning me against the door. His minty breath ghosted over my lips before claiming them. Being with me must be such a hardship. Damn right. Care to suffer longer? His mouth trailed down my neck, turning my knees to jelly. Maybe. His low chuckle unraveled me thread by thread. By the time I regained sense, dusk had fallen. Exhausted, I couldn't lift a finger. Too late for regrets now. Hungry. I nudged his calf with my foot. John shamelessly pulled me against his bare chest. Still hungry? Die. You dog. I need actual food. I shoved him away, scrambling across the bed. Forgot who's in charge here. He stood, sheet pulling around his hips. My face burned remembering earlier. I yanked the covers over my head. Dress shirt rustling. John tugged the blanket down. Don't suffocate yourself. I'll cook. His tender gaze made me turn away. All gentlemanly once clothed. We're aware. You're dismissed. Johnny. He chuckled. Soon. The clatter of pans echoed. Returning with noodles. He played along, mission accomplished. Your Majesty. Where's my reward? Insolent. I snatched the bowl, ignoring the rogue. Later, when he had me breathless again, John murmured, poor leadership can't demand gallops without feeding the stallion. Infuriating how he always twists logic. And just like that, John moved back in. The rain-soaked night we'd screamed and slammed doors felt lifetimes ago. Our unresolved issues still lingered. No. Scratch that. This idiot refused to hear me out from the start. 7 years wasted on my naive college crush turned boyfriend. Why naive? 3 years together. 0 sexual interest from him. When I finally dumped him, he agreed instantly. We stayed frostily civil on socials. Everyone said he was asexual. Then came his wedding announcement. My cheeks were wet before I registered crying. Truth be told, I don't have feelings for him anymore. Those involuntary tears were probably mourning my ill-fated first love and 7 years of pipe dreams. But John refused to believe it. After our fight, we endured another week of silent treatment. Then on a stormy night, I finally exploded and ended things. Whatever. If John wants reassurances, I'll drown him in them. Ugh. I can't afford to lose this man who's perfect in every way except his mouth. Fate had other plans. Our company hired an intern, Lucy, the wife of my ex Kevin. How's that for cosmic irony? Worse yet, this woman's a walking disaster. Personally, I'd avoid confronting her. But as department director, I can't let her incompetence slide. After reducing her to tears 3 times in 1 week, I stamped her internship evaluation. This one's unsalvageable. John, usually buried in work, surprised me by picking me up early for dinner. Of course, we ran straight into Kevin arriving to collect Lucy. The walking liability sniffled goodbye director with tragic flair. She's your boss? Kevin arched an eyebrow at me. That look told me Lucy's been giving nightly reports about my critiques. Terrified he'd imagined some pathetic unrequited love scenario, I tried dragging John away. John tightened his possessive grip around my waist, channeling maximum himbo energy. Problem? Kevin just ruffled Lucy's hair. Nothing. She's been causing trouble. We'll treat you both to dinner sometime as thanks. Smooth as hell. I forced a smile. No need. Just doing my job. As Kevin's car disappeared, John's expression froze over. Hilarious. Kevin understands his wife's ineptitude, while my own boyfriend suspects I'm tormenting Lucy over old flames. Remembering our last fight, I tried patience. What's wrong? Let's eat first. My gentleness only made him more suspicious. Should've yelled dumbass instead. He snorted derisively. John, I warned. I've explained the Kevin situation endlessly. And I've never dredged up your past. Have I? Ask. He halted in the empty parking garage. What? Ask about exes. There aren't any. He pinned me against the car. Only you. My DNA short-circuited. God. He looked hot, claiming exclusivity. If we broke up, I'd never forget you. He murmured against my lashes. Unspoken words hung between us. Then why did I move on from Kevin? 7 years isn't erased by explanations. Love breeds irrational fears. This desperate need to be someone's entire universe. I looped arms around his neck, kissing him full on the mouth. Hear that? My heart's drumming your name. John maintained composure, but his ears burned crimson. Though honestly, credit for easing his doubts goes to Kevin and Lucy's spectacular idiocy. Kevin's family money kept Lucy employed despite my veto. Her constant blunders and empty apologies turned me into a rage monster daily. John's asked repeatedly what's wrong. I just shake my head. Let him think it's work stress. Better than knowing I'm babysitting his rival's train wreck wife. I really didn't want to bring work frustrations into my personal life. This kind of mess wasn't something to share with John. He didn't press further, giving me space. There was a crucial project in Hangzhou, and management actually wanted me to take Lucy out for field experience. My world collapsed when I heard this. Despite vehement objections, I ended up dragging her along on this business trip. The adult world is full of compromises and helplessness. Predictably, Lucy messed up the reports. I revised them myself and told her to print the corrected versions for tomorrow. Guess what she did? Printed the original drafts. When I spotted the error outside the conference room, I wanted to strangle her. For a moment, I nearly cried. How do people like this exist? And why did I have to be stuck with one? How do you guard against a walking disaster? I postponed the meeting and stayed behind with the team to fix things. To prevent further screw-ups, I took Lucy's room key and went to her hotel to print the correct reports from her laptop. Imagine my rage when I found her husband Kevin here. She'd called him to Hangzhou for sightseeing and bedroom activities while I cleaned up her mess. The bathroom door opened as I entered. Kevin stepped out in a towel, dripping wet. I laughed bitterly. Some people skate through life without a shred of responsibility. Suddenly, my 7-year crush on him felt like a brain-damaged phase. Kevin's next move lowered the bar further. He glared coldly, "Get out." As if I'd want him? What an arrogant jerk. My John is taller, hotter, and 10 times the man he'll ever be. Don't flatter yourself, I snapped, pushing past him. Lucy's idiocy knew no bounds. Why hadn't she come back with me when Kevin was here? If she's so scared of me, why not do her damn job properly? Move, I growled when Kevin blocked my path. Or I'll make you. He stood his ground. I hurled the keycard at his face. Save your bullshit for someone who cares. You delusional prick. Your wife's incompetence ruined this deal. And I'm cleaning up her shit. You dare criticize me? Go die in a ditch. The verbal assault left him stunned. I stormed to the laptop. Power on, password protected. Your wife's computer. What's the code? I didn't bother looking at him. I don't know, Kevin finally said. 3 unanswered calls to Lucy later. I slumped against the wall, exhausted. When she finally answered, I almost cried with relief, proof she possessed basic human functionality. Barely. Password. Now. No pleasantries. Her trembling voice gave the code. I printed the reports, triple-checked everything, and left. The deal closed. But we lost a percentage point due to this fiasco. The silent flight back spoke volumes. The company docked 6 months' pay from me. Lucy faced 0 consequences. Climbing to director through blood, sweat and tears suddenly felt meaningless. This ends now. I'm resigning. In the end, I was actually forced out by a mere probationary intern. How ridiculous. But honestly, such a company isn't worth staying at anyway. I'd never encountered such stupidity before that revealed how utterly brain-dead our management was. When I got home, the apartment was pitch dark. I collapsed on the floor, hugging my knees as sobs racked my body. I don't know how much time passed before the door opened. I looked up to see John Wilson standing there. One glance at me laid bare all my anguish. His face paled instantly. In 3 quick strides, he swept me into his arms. Ivy? That broke the last of my composure. I clung to his neck and wept openly. He didn't ask questions, just rubbed soothing circles on my back until my breathing steadied. Only when my tears finally subsided did John help me up. Hungry? My eyes were swollen slits. I must have looked hideous. I nodded, avoiding his gaze. Still beautiful. He cupped my face, seeing right through my insecurities with that tender smile. We moved to the kitchen where I assisted him with dinner prep, discovering unexpected joy in mundane domesticity. Over the 3-course meal he prepared, I recounted my disastrous day calmly at first. But sitting across from John, the tears resurfaced, plopping into my rice bowl. Why didn't you tell me sooner? His voice stayed gentle though his expression darkened, the protective glint unmistakable. I sniffled. I'm supposed to be Director Ivy. Having a meltdown over some greenhorn is humiliating. Okay? Now I'm just unemployed. He tweaked my nose affectionately. Always so fierce with me. Should I be gentle with those morons? If assault wasn't illegal, I'd have slapped both those idiots. My voice turned venomous at their mention. Fierce with everyone, John murmured before brushing his lips against mine. That simple contact dissolved my lingering resentment. Little did I know my John wasn't just hotter and kinder than those fools, he was wealthier too. My former company got acquired by the Wilson Group overnight. Lucy Davis was terminated with meticulously documented cause. The termination letter permanently staining her pristine resume. Kevin Johnson's family business incidentally took a 6-month profit nosedive through some strategic maneuvers. Learning this later, my jaw dropped. Your Majesty. I cooed, draping myself over John. Why didn't you tell your humble consort about your empire? He tilted my chin up, amused. My consort never inquired. Now that I know, I waggled my eyebrows. Hand holdings $10. Kisses go for $100. Sleeping together? $500 a pop. Next thing I knew, he'd thrown me over his shoulder while transferring a sum with too many zeros. I scrambled off the bed in mock terror, only to be dragged back. Then I'll gladly pay for lifetimes. He breathed against my ear, warmth spreading through me like honey. Returning as director and part-time future Mrs. Wilson. I couldn't resist mischief during John's office tour. Slipping off my heel, I traced his calf under the boardroom table right as Sophia Taylor walked in. That viper had mocked me relentlessly during my resignation. Now she sneered. Director Ivy. Ever checked a mirror? At your age. Still throwing yourself at our new CEO? Then again. Some have the audacity to return after quitting. Her venomous smile widened. What won't desperate women do? I narrowed my eyes at her with a smirk. How did you know our John isn't falling for that? Shameless. Sophia and I often bickered anyway, so I didn't dwell on it. Who knew this big-breasted airhead would actually take my words seriously? When John came to our company under the guise of inspecting operations, intending to sneak a kiss with me, Sophia intercepted him. I pushed open the door to find Sophia and John discussing work on the sofa. Of course, I never knock before entering John's office, which meant I witnessed Sophia kicking off her shoes and rubbing her foot against his calf. Though the contact lasted mere seconds, he'd already been contaminated. John stood up with stormy eyes, trying to explain. I smiled sweetly. Do carry on. Ivy. His voice dropped to that dangerous register. I resisted causing a scene here. This bastard actually dared to get angry first after being caught red-handed? Unfucking acceptable. John. Raise your voice at me again and see what happens. I glared murderously, silently threatening his sleeping privileges tonight. The infuriating man didn't back down an inch. He crossed the room in 3 strides, grabbing my wrist. Leaving? You'll just watch your husband get harassed? Carry on? Since when did you become so magnanimous? Getting tired of me? Oh, for God's sake. I told you he's a naive drama queen. His rapid-fire questions stunned both me and gaping-mouthed Sophia. You, out. Now. I hissed at frozen Sophia, eyes promising violence if she didn't vanish. Family embarrassments shouldn't become public spectacles, especially John's occasional idiocy. Truthfully, I wasn't that angry. Though Sophia's this tacky social climber. She's harmless. She'll avoid John like the plague after this. Once the door shut, I patted John's cheek. Where's your dignity? Sulking like jealous puppy? He snorted coldly. Jealous puppy? Me? Not at all. I backpedaled instantly. Stay here working. Mark your territory so random succubi stop wandering in. John pinched my waist hard before returning to his desk. God. He looks devastatingly attractive when focused. As expected, news of me bagging John spread fast. Colleagues jokingly called me Mrs. Boss. After 2 days of preening, it hit me we weren't actually married. Suddenly I wanted that damn ring. Desperately. I secretly browsed Quora. Bullshit answers. All claiming if a man won't propose, he's just playing. John, playing me? I'm the one playing him. Though I'd never admit it aloud. The anxiety gnawed at me. At 29, all my friends were married. Why did John only want to date? My irritation grew daily, picking fights constantly. He just pressed his palm against my lower abdomen. PMS? Fuck off. You should know. John calculated dates. Long lashes fluttering. Pregnant? Why are you trembling? Excitement. I pinched his cheek. No. Ugh. Whatever. This is fine. John Wilson loves me. Even an idiot could tell. After I calmed my mind, good things started happening. On the day of first snow, I dressed lightly. Shivering. I tightened my coat and went downstairs to cross the street toward the parking lot when I saw John standing in the snowfall. His gray trench coat fluttered as he held a black umbrella under the night sky. Snowflakes swirling around him. Everything else faded into his backdrop. People experience countless heartbeats in their lifetime. But after meeting John, every quickened pulse was because of him. I ran laughing into his arms. And he caught me firmly. Slow down, he murmured. In the car, John handed me a thermos of hot water. As we drove, I noticed the route was unfamiliar. Where are we going? For the first snow, I'm taking you out to eat. His grip tightened imperceptibly on the steering wheel. Oh, he's hiding something. My heart raced as he led me into the rooftop garden restaurant of the International Trade Center. Amber lighting cast romantic shadows across dreamy wedding decorations and vibrant crimson roses. After pulling out my chair, John walked to the grand piano and played an unfamiliar melody. Each note plucked at my heartstrings until tears escaped. I could lend you some tissues, I blurted out. But the Real John walked up to me with a diamond ring, gently wiping my tears with his thumb. Ivy Peter, he said, voice trembling. Will you marry me? You didn't even kneel. I pouted. And that wasn't even a question. So arrogant. His smile softened. If you say yes, I'll kneel for you every day of our lives. Blackmail now? I raised an eyebrow but tilted my chin up regally. John slid the ring onto my finger, sealing it with a feather-light kiss on my knuckle before kneeling. Later, as he pinned my hands into the pillows, his voice turned gravelly and dangerous. Why did you hesitate earlier? I didn't. You threatened me. I squirmed uselessly under his weight. His teeth grazed my earlobe. Not a threat. A plea. Miss Ivy Peter. Mr. John Wilson begs you to love him. To marry him. Since when did you become so smooth? I laughed, wrapping my arms around his neck. All right. MS. Ivy agrees. But what was that song called? Self-composed. The title is Ivy. That tender melody overflowing with devotion was named after me. Honestly, it sounded even more beautiful than Chopin.